Savings accounts in Germany are currently giving a 3% or more back in interest, but not for long. Experts estimate that this is not going to last for the entire year. If you want to take advantage of this high interest rate, I say high because it's the highest that we've seen in the last years in Germany, then you should consider opening a savings account today.
In this video, we're going to touch the following topics. We're going to compare the two types of savings account in Germany and their use case. We're going to compare the 4 best savings accounts in Germany out there, in our opinion. We're also going to talk about our setup, what we use, and we're of course going to touch the favorite topic of taxes when it comes to savings accounts in Germany.
You can find the links to the bank accounts that we're going to mention in this video in the description box below. Mind you, these are affiliate links, and if you do open a savings account with them, we might get a small commission at no extra cost to you. So let's jump right into it. What are the 2 different kinds of savings account available in Germany and what are their use case?
So as a first most popular savings account, we have the so-called Tagesgeldkonto, which would be translated into call money account. The benefit of these savings accounts is that you have instant access. You're pretty much just parking your money elsewhere, but whenever you need it, you can just call it, you can just take it back. Because you have constant access to it and you're not really giving any security to the bank, the interest rates are comparatively lower than to the second type, which we are going to discuss. Generally speaking, interest rates given on savings accounts, as well as on loans on the other scale, are always associated with the key interest rate of a European central bank. So whatever action they take, banks usually follow a few weeks, months later.
We use such a savings account to save for a rainy day. In case there's an emergency, there's a little cushion there that we have instant access to. We can call the money whenever we need it, right? And we also use it to save for trips in the near future. Again, so we can save monthly, we get a little bit of interest rate, and then when we travel, we can use it as well for our trips.
The second type of savings account in Germany is the Festgeldkonto, fixed deposit account. As the name says, it is a fixed account, meaning you don't have any access to your money during the contract length. You can choose when signing up to one what type of contract you want. Usually they last between 6 months to 5 years. The longer the duration, typically the higher the interest rate that you get, because the bank has more security to be able to work with your money and hence rewards you with a slightly higher interest rate. This type of savings account could be used, for example, if you are saving to buy a house, let's say in 3 years. You already have a chunk of money saved up and you want to keep it working. However, you don't want to take any risk in losing any of it because you are planning on that amount in 3 years. So a Festgeldkonto kind of like gives you the highest return in the safest environment over a medium time span. Whereas if you would, for example, invest that into ETFs in a securities account, you have no idea where the market is going to stand in 3 years. So it's not really a safe bet if you're really planning with that amount of money in the medium span time span.
For the comparison of savings accounts in this video, we're only going to compare Tagesgeldkontos. So that's the call money ones, the ones that you will have instant access to. At the time of the recording, unfortunately, none of the banks that we're going to mention have their sign-up process in English. However, you can use the translate function in the web browser of your choice. We use Chrome and there it's super easy. You right-click, translate to English, and usually it works when filling out forms. So let's jump into our comparison of the Tagesgeldkonto. And we'll start with TF Bank. Annual interest rate for new customers.
At time of recording, 3.8%. New customers typically means that you haven't been a customer with this bank for the past 6 to 12 months.
Above interest rate guaranteed for
6 months.
Above interest rate guaranteed for maximum amount of
100,000 euros.
Annual interest rate for existing customers.
1.45%. So that means either you have invested for 6 months and then after 6 months it's dropping from 3.8 to 1.45%, or if you've been with them longer already, then you are just consistently getting the 1.45%, which is relatively high.
Interest payment cycle?
Monthly. That means your interest gets paid onto the account monthly and you can benefit from compound interest.
No account fees?
Yes.
No minimum deposit?
Yes.
Total maximum deposit?
100,000 euros.
English banking app?
No, there's actually no banking app at all. For the Tagesgeldkonto, you can only access it on desktop in a very limited kind of shell. It's not a full-blown banking app.
Easy to call money? We call it this way just to show, is it really instant access or is there a complicated process?
The answer is no, because since it's such a limited shell in the desktop app, there is no button where you can actually say, I want to transfer my money to my my reference account that you set beforehand. To call your money, you actually need to fill out a PDF and send that via email to the TF bank. So the transfer, once you send that file, takes 1 to 4 banking days.
EU deposit insurance?
Yes. So there is a law that in the EU, in Germany, a bank needs to have 100,000 euros as a secured deposit amount. However, since TF Bank is a Swedish bank, they give their EU deposit insurance in Swedish krona, which is 1,050,000 krona, which at the time of recording translate in approximately 93,000 euros.
Second option is Comdirect. Annual interest rate for new customers?
At time of recording, 3.75%.
Above interest rate guaranteed for?
Also 6 months.
Above interest rate guaranteed for maximum amount of?
100,000 euros.
Annual interest rate for existing customers?
0.75%.
Interest payment cycle?
Quarterly.
No account fees?
Yes.
No minimum deposit?
Yes.
Total maximum deposit?
Unlimited.
English banking app?
No, the banking app is in German.
Easy to call the money?
Yes, it is a full developed banking portfolio. Yeah? And you have a button to transfer the money to a reference account that, again, you state during the sign-up process.
EU deposit insurance?
Yes, it is a German bank, actually part of the Commerzbank branch, and hence the deposit insurance is up to 100,000 euros. Or is 100,000 euros.
Now option number 3 is Consorsbank. Annual interest rate for new customers?
3.75% at time of recording.
Above interest rate guaranteed for?
Also 6 months.
Above interest rate guaranteed for maximum amount of?
1 million euros.
Wow. Annual interest rate for existing customers?
1%.
Interest payment cycle?
Quarterly.
No account fees?
Yes.
No minimum deposit?
Yes.
Total maximum deposit?
Unlimited.
English banking app?
No, it's in German.
Easy to call the money?
Yes, same as with Comdirect. It's a banking system and you can transfer the money instantly to the reference account of Consorsbank. So there it's linked to a Consorsbank account, the Verrechnungskonto, and from there you can send it to any bank account of your liking.
EU deposit insurance?
Yes, it's also a German bank, hence 100,000 euros.
Option number 4 that we're comparing is Commerzbank.
And here we need to make a quick disclaimer that we're talking about the Top-Zinskonto Plus, which is the current offer, because the Commerzbank also has their everyday Tagesgeldkonto.
Annual interest rate for new money?
3.5%. And this means the Commerzbank is not comparing customers, meaning like have you been with them before or not, but really money, meaning this interest rate on this special offer is given for any money that you transfer into that account that hasn't been sitting with the Commerzbank AG, meaning also that hasn't been sitting with Comdirect or on Vista Bank, which is also part of Commerzbank. So, for example, if you had an account with Consorsbank before and you want to secure this interest rate for the next 6 months, you can transfer the money from Consorsbank to Commerzbank to make benefit of that.
Above interest rate guaranteed for?
Also 6 months.
Above interest rate guaranteed for maximum amount of?
10 million euros.
Annual interest rate for existing money?
For existing money, again, very important, 0.75%.
Interest payment cycle?
Annually.
No account fees?
Yes.
No minimum deposit?
Yes.
Total maximum deposit?
Unlimited.
English banking app?
Yes.
Is it easy to call the money back?
Yes.
And does it have an EU deposit insurance?
Yes, German bank, absolutely. With Comdirect and Commerzbank, you do not need to have a checking account, a Girokonto with them, in order to open the Tagesgeldkonto. They are separate from each other.
So what is our current setup?
So our setup is that last year you had your savings account with Comdirect, where now the 6 months of high interest rate are already run out. And we moved your money to TF Bank, where we actually found out about the document you need to fill out to get your money back.
Yeah.
And I had my savings account last year with Consorsbank and just as I mentioned earlier in the example, now moved everything to Commerzbank to benefit from the current higher interest rate.
And what are the requirements for an international or not to open a savings account in Germany?
First off, you need to be an adult, so 18 years or older.
Second, you are a resident in Germany, meaning you need to have your Meldebescheinigung.
Third up, you must have a German checking account, so a Girokonto, which you can link during the sign up to your Tagesgeldkonto. It doesn't have to be from the same bank.
Number 4, you have a German mobile phone number. This is because the banks usually use the phone number as authentication or to send important notifications and to link it to an account.
You also need to have an email address.
Number 6 is your German tax ID. If you're curious about what this tax ID is, how to get it, and where to find it, you can find our detailed guide at simplegermany.com, which we will link in the description box below.
Those are all the requirements. However, I'd like to share a little bit more information that I stumbled across during my in-depth research, which I find very important, especially for internationals. One is that a Tagesgeldkonto does have no impact on your Schufa or doesn't even require a good Schufa score because it doesn't trigger an inquiry about your credit history. Because you're not really using it on a daily basis, it's really just to park money. Hence, you can also have as many Tagesgeldkontos as you like without impacting your Schufa score if you want to distribute your savings to different banks. And very important also the question about the residence permit. When I called every single bank and asked about the setup and the requirements for internationals, they said that the residence permit is most likely, because of course on the phone they're also not going to give me 100% answers, not necessary. Again, just like I explained with the Schufa, because you're not really trading or doing anything with this account. It's just a parking lot, more or less. However, what they did say is that if you are from outside the EU, you will be able to sign up online, and most likely the Meldebescheinigung, the proof that you're a German resident, they will inquire via email or postal mail from you. So don't overwhelm them with that document, but wait for them to inquire it from you and then send it to them in response via email. That is the best way to progress in order to have a smooth sign up.
Now let's jump into the taxes related to savings account in Germany. The big question is, do I need to pay taxes on the profits that I'm making from my savings account? The answer is, it depends.
No, the answer is yes. Yeah, in this case it's yes. So the true answer is that any interest gain, whether it is in a Tagesgeldkonto, Festgeldkonto, in your ETFs, in a securities account, it doesn't matter. Anything that is interest profit falls under capital gains and hence needs to be taxed with a capital gains tax. In German it's called Kapitalertragssteuer. The Kapitalertragssteuer, so the capital gains tax, is currently set at 25% on profits, plus 5.5% on the 25% for solidarity surcharge. So if you math that out, it's 26.4%. And if you are paying church tax, you need to take another 8 or 9%, depending on how much you're paying, on top of the 25%, math that up, and then you're actually paying 28.4% in capital gains tax.
Is the solidarity charge only for Western Germany?
No. Okay. Capital gains across the board.
Okay. So also the eastern part pays the same?
Everyone.
Yeah, okay.
However, there is a free allowance of 1,000 euro per year per person, meaning per year per person across any bank account. So it's not 1,000 euro per account, but let's say you have a depot like a securities account and you have a Tagesgeldkonto with a different bank, it's 1,000 euros across the board for 1 year. If you're married, it's 2,000 euros per couple, and that can be split. So it could be that Jen has 1,500 free and I have 500 free, that doesn't matter. To benefit from this tax-free allowance, you can set up a tax exemption order. In German it's called Freistellungsauftrag, with your respective bank where you expect to receive the profits. In your online banking, you can either search for the word Freistellungsauftrag or look under the submenu of taxes, Steuern, for such word. And then you can follow along either because you have English banking with Commerzbank or you translate it with your browser. So if your profits throughout the year are below 1,000 euros, you don't pay any taxes. And the bank knows that because you put in the tax exemption order. However, if your profits exceed the 1,000 or 2,000, whatever you have, of tax-free allowance, then from every euro in profit above the 1,000 euro, the bank will automatically tax it already. So the money you receive in your account is already the money you can also keep. They will take the 25 or the 26%, whichever accounts for you, automatically. So you don't really have to worry about anything as long as you have your tax exemption order in place. And if you go back to the example where I mentioned that you have a securities account with one bank and a Tagesgeldkonto with another bank, you can also split your tax exemption order and put, let's say, 600 euro with the securities account and 400 euro with the bank where you have the Tagesgeldkonto. This is really up to you. Just make sure it doesn't exceed the 1,000 euro and that you do it intentionally. One big disclaimer. Since TF Bank is a Swedish bank, they don't process tax exemption orders, and any profits you get will not be considered with taxation. That is your job. You'll receive a paper from them at the end of the year documenting your profits, and you need to file a tax declaration, in this case, adding that paper so that either the tax authorities know, hey, below 1,000 euros, all good, or hey, above 1,000 euros, and you will get to pay your taxation through the tax declaration. Now you might be thinking, oh no, I have to file a tax declaration. Well, actually it's a good thing, because in most cases you will get money back from the tax declaration. If you want to know more about whether you have to and how to do so, you can watch our video here on the left about tax declarations in Germany. Until next time.
Tschüss!
In this video we're going to talk about the
Sorry. Are you calling your money? Then you have death at your doorstep. However, you can use the translate function